Frankie Randall has been a pro for 4 years coming into this fight. His biggest claim to fame is a controversial points loss to Edwin Rosario 2 years prior. Since then, Randall has had 6 fights, most notably stopping Sammy Fuentes in 2 rounds and getting a draw with Freddie Pendleton. Despite being ranked 3rd by the WBC, Randall is still 7 years away from a career-defining performance that would see him score a huge upset against Julio Cesar Chavez in 1994. Meanwhile, in the opposite corner stands Shelton Leblanc with a record of 22-5. LeBlanc is a former amateur star who made it to the 1980 Olympic boxing trials. He won numerous international meets and a national Golden Gloves title. In the pro ranks, LeBlanc's most significant win was a revenge victory over Freddie Pendleton a year prior to this bout. It's worth noting that both boxers are grappling with drug-related issues during the time period of this fight.
Al LeBlanc hails from Karen Crow, Louisiana. He's been preparing for this fight against Frankie Randall for the last 5-6 weeks.
Time!
Frankie Randall, as I mentioned at the outset of our broadcast tonight, Al, is ranked in the top 10 by virtually all of boxing's governing bodies, and for good reason. He can't seem to get anybody atop those various organizations to take him seriously. Well, they're going to have to at some point.
Well, they've given him the good ratings. I think his ratings are appropriate. It's a question of getting a title shot. He's rated about where he should be, I think, by most of the people. It's just a question of the champions really getting around to fighting him. And you know, his one loss was to Rosario, of course, is now a champion. That was a decision, and he's done well in every other fight. And he admits that he learned a lot from it. He was very inexperienced at the time, so you have to rate him a good contender.
Come on, pick it up. You all right? Okay, take it.
And as you look at Shelton LeBlanc, he has to be happy with the fact that he was able to do what he did in the first round. He was able to kind of keep things in control.
Round 2 scheduled for 10. Now Frankie Randall says when his boxing days are done, and believe me, he's got a lot ahead of him, he'd like to spend the rest of his life working with children. Came from a broken home himself, very active in the Morristown, Tennessee Boys Club.
Frankie Randall, one of the more articulate guys you would want to bump into, and we've always enjoyed chatting with him before his fights. Very intense, though, real serious-minded kind of a guy. See him picking up the pace. He's very conscious now that he wants to work on other punches. Everyone knows he's got the good right hand, but he feels he's got to make that left hook and other punches better if he's going to be a champion. See, the right is starting now to find its mark.
Now the people in Shelton LeBlanc's camp very quietly optimistic about this fight tonight.
Well, I think they felt, based upon maybe the Pendleton comparisons, that he would be having a chance to box a little bit against Randall. There's apparently a low blow. But I'll tell you, Shelton LeBlanc's fighting a big uphill fight in this fight, because I think Frankie Randall is one of the best things in the lightweight division.
If I recall, both LeBlanc and Randall checked out of that particular trial after their first fight.
Oh, big right. There's the right by Frankie Randall. It's starting to really find its mark. Shelton LeBlanc lost to Hector Camacho, and Randall lost to Joe Manley in that competition. 2 pretty good fighters. Both of them went on to win world titles.
Round 2 is rolling to conclusion, scheduled to go 10.
You can see Randall just wants to tee off now with that right hand. He knows it can get there. They were chastising LeBlanc, as you see my scoring with Randall winning the second round, chastising LeBlanc for not moving more in the last round in his corner.
LeBlanc's last outing about a month ago against Steve Hunter was a second-round knockout for Shelton. Frankie Randall would love to become the second current world title holder from Morristown, Tennessee. Keith Harkey, the other IBF cruiserweight champ.
You know, I don't think Frankie Randall has tapped his full potential yet, just as he believes he hasn't. I think most boxing people feel that, and that's why I think most people are so high on him. Look at the good uppercuts on the inside. He does get better every fight out. The only exception was the Pendleton one. He really didn't perform as well as he might, but part of that was Freddie Pendleton was fighting very well at that time.
Well, you have to believe that Randall's title hopes now grow brighter every day with the murmurings that Hector Camacho was going to step up.
Well, there are some options open, certainly, and nowadays there's always 3 guys with the title. Look at the bodywork by Randall. Really nice bodywork. So, of course, we're not willing this fight to him yet, but right now, the way Frankie Randall's fighting, he looks like he's going to be a solid bet here.
We are rolling to the end now of round 3 in this scheduled 10-round lightweight bout.
Of how Randall is improving his overall skills. He's not just a right-handed puncher.
One thing that amazes me about these middleweight, lightweight fighters, Al, is how they can maintain their weight. You go all the way back to the middle part of 1984 in his second-round knockout of Jose Rentas. He weighed 138 pounds. Coming into this fight, he's at 136.5. And thus far through 3, you've got Randall up by 1.
Winning the last 2 rounds and winning so in a convincing fashion. There, the 3-punch combination of the body and the right hand starts to become a factor now.
Good stiff left hand this time by Randall.
The left hook that Randall has been working on so much. Shelton Leblanc really having troubles offensively, getting on track and not moving that much, and that's why he's getting hit. Oh, what a beautiful 5-punch combination by Frankie Randall. 3 to the body, an uppercut, and a left hook. They call Frankie Randall the surgeon, and I'll tell you what, he's dissecting Shelton Leblanc right now, doing so in precision fashion.
Now LeBlanc is being beaten to the punch every time. And in terms of punching power, the decisive edge goes to Frankie Randall. That's the end of round 4 as we take a look into Frankie Randall's corner. Let's listen.
When you get him back on the ropes and get him in your sights, that's the time to go with the combinations. He's ready to pull the trigger when you got him back there. So he's wanting to get away. You're not going to hit him with a 1 big punch. He's going to get away from it. Set him up with the combination. Okay? Drink a little of this now.
We are set to go now into round 5.
The combination punching of Randall has been so evident here. He doesn't stop with 1 punch. Now, not every one of those landed, but the fact is that Frankie Randall was throwing them, and a couple get in, 2, 3 don't, but it doesn't matter.
We're set to begin round 5. Shelton LeBlanc in the light blue trunks, Frankie Randall. and the black with white piping. And at this particular juncture, Al, you've got Randall moving out in front of this one.
Yeah, head by 2 points, and that's almost academic, because the way he's fighting and the way Shelton's fighting, unless something radically changes, he's just going to continue that margin. But, of course, we've seen surprises before. Look how that last fight changed. After the first 3 rounds, it looked for all the world like
tension at best.
And I think that's something a lot of fighters are starting to feel with Frankie. Ever since that he knocked out Sammy Fuentes with that one enormous right hand, Fuentes at the time especially considered a very good fighter. I think fighters look at him and say, when is that right hand going to come? And, I mean, LeBlanc's been hit with some pretty good ones, but he hasn't been hit with the #1 Frankie Randall right hand. That was an attempt at one right there.
That punch you talked about, our colleague Dave Bontempo rated the 1986 punch of the year.
Well, if Dave Bontempo said it was the punch of the year, then I'll tell you what, it was. I never argue with him.
Absolutely not.
Good right hand by Randall.
We are approaching the halfway point of this scheduled 10-rounder, and thus far, Shelton Leblanc has just not been a factor. We'll return to Resorts International in Atlantic City in a moment.
Whoa!
Hey, you said the right thing.
It's going.
Now this fight has been stopped,
Why?
and we're uncertain now as to why. The bell sounded, signifying the start of round 6. And apparently the corner of Shelton LeBlanc felt that Shelton simply was not throwing punches while we were away. His corner people saying you've got to throw punches if you want to win a fight.
LeBlanc later revealed that he felt dehydrated and was struggling to breathe. This was compounded by a swollen eye, leading him to believe that it was unnecessary to endure further punishment. On the other side, Randall maintained that it was his effective body work that forced LeBlanc to throw in the towel. Well, Randall had hopes to face the winner of the upcoming Terrence Ali-Jose Luis Ramirez title fight. His championship plans took an unexpected turn when he suffered an upset knockout defeat to Primo Ramos in October of 1987. Meanwhile, LeBlanc contemplated retirement after this bout, but decided to give the sport another shot 5 months later. Unfortunately, he lost 3 of his last 4 fights and ultimately retired in October of 1989. Now, reflecting on his career, LeBlanc admitted to falling prey to cocaine during the 1980s, acknowledging that there were times when he didn't give his all in the ring due to his struggles with substance abuse. Eventually, he managed to overcome his addiction, finding employment in the oil fields of Louisiana, working up to the role of an inspector. Later, he returned to Stoots Gym, where he dedicated his time to training fighters. "It's my way of giving something back," LeBlanc said. "The things Coach Stoots preached to me, now I understand, and I'm telling them."